In the last video we looked at scatter brushes. In this one we're going to take a look at creating an art brush. The way that an art brush works is it takes some graphic object that you've dragged into the brushes panel and made into a brush and then stretches it along the path. Unlike the scatter brush that we did with the star tool, where it takes that graphic and scatters it along the path. Or like the pattern brush that we're going to look at in the next demo, which takes that graphic object and then it places it side by side next to each other and also develops corners if necessary for the border brush, like this one right here. So in this brush we're going to take a look at creating an art brush, and I'm going to have you make this type of brush where it's like a sort of rainbow effect, just to show you that you can work with multiple objects when you're making a brush. But basically anything that you dragged in here you could make into a brush. There are some limitations, but for the most part any basic vector graphics that you drag into here can be converted either into a scatter brush, an art brush, or a pattern brush. So let's get started. We're going to choose the rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw one long rectangle like this, and I'm going to start off by adding some color. And then I'm going to duplicate it. So with the group selection tool, I have smart guides on. I'm going to go from the anchor point on the top left hand corner, could be the top right hand corner, doesn't really matter, and I'm going to drag down until I touch the anchor point below it. So because I'm on smart guides, it will also snap into position. I'll hold option to duplicate it, and then I'll do command D. Once I've got a series of these, I can go in here and select each one in turn. And I'm going to go down this color pattern, so we make a rainbow. So we'll go from red to orange, and then we'll go from orange to yellow, and then we'll go from yellow to green, and then we'll go from green to blue, and so on. Last one we'll make it kind of purpley. There you go. So we've got this set of strips, rectangles. I'm going to squash these so they're much narrower. It's just easier to draw them when they're wider like that and get them to duplicate and so on. The next thing what I want to do is I want to zoom out a little bit so I can see the whole thing, and then with the ellipse tool I'm going to draw an ellipse that starts in the top left hand corner, and I'll drag across until I touch the bottom right hand corner. Once I've done that, I'm going to choose the convert anchor point tool, and I'm going to click on each end of this. So I remove the handle so this becomes points at the end. If I select over this now, and we then go to Object, Envelope Distort, Make with Top Object, we'll end up with this. Before we drag this into the brushes, I want to do one more step, which is Object Expand. This just converts it into basic raw vector shapes again. Then I'm going to drag this, I think I'm going to squash it a little bit more. I'm going to drag this into here, choose Art Brush, and then press OK. Now if I want to paint with this, I can choose the brush, choose that brush in the brushes panel, and then I can drag out to create a path with it. Because these brush strokes are applied to a path as an appearance, you can still edit the stroke, so you can make it thicker or narrower by adjusting that position. So that's it for this video. This is how to create an art brush. Basically anything that you drag into the brushes panel can be converted into a brush, and you have three types of brush you can make by dragging elements in here. You can either make an art brush, a scatter brush, or a border brush. I'm going to make another video for the border brush. And then lastly, there's a couple of other brushes, the calligraphic brushes and the bristle brushes, but those ones you wouldn't make by dragging something into the brushes panel. You'd simply double click on it and make edit some settings within here. Same with the bristle brush. You just edit settings within here. Alright, that's it for this video. Bye!